What is good, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. So this month we are doing coming of age movies, kind of bring down the tone after the scary and horror stuff in October. This is one of my favorite subgenres of movies. I got some great suggestions, which I'm going to be getting to. I saw some really great ones in there. Some I knew, some I don't know, but I'm all curious about. The one I'm reviewing today is one from that I thought would be good and is currently available for streaming on Amazon Prime. Garden State is directed by, written by, and starring Zach Braff, as well as starring Natalie Portman and Peter Sarsgaard. Andrew is our main character. He's been kind of numbed out through life. He had a childhood accident, something that happens that could happen to anybody. Because it is his father, who's also his psychiatrist, thinks he has anger issues, and from a young age just started prescribing him and getting him on pharmaceutical drugs. So he's kind of numbed out, doesn't have a feel for himself or who he is because he's been on these drugs his whole life. Naturally, he ends up in Los Angeles. As he mentions in the movie, he's only felt alive when he's pretending to be someone else. Something to that effect, he says, which sums up why someone who just kind of doesn't know who they are wants to be an actor, because you could just be anybody. But after the loss of his mother, he finds his way back to New Jersey, which is where we spend pretty much all the film, except for that first little 5 minutes. Andrew, once he gets back home, you can feel that he's starting to get back into his groove. We barely know the character. We only know a little bit about him through his job in LA and kind of just like what it's like living for him there. It's very bland. He's very alone. He comes back to Jersey and just starts hitting it off with his friends he hasn't seen in forever right away. I can totally relate to that. I love that vibe. I'm gonna get into that momentarily. But yeah, he starts connecting with these people, going to parties, hanging out. Because of that childhood accident he had, where his dad rooted all his anger issues from, you could see that sense of distance, this disconnection with him and his dad, and they've been needing to have a talk for probably the better part of 18 years, or whenever that accident happened that caused his dad to have all these misconceptions about his son. But this movie it's of course you got your little love story in there that naturally happens. It's a quirky little love story. It's all organic, and it all comes from him saying, you know what, I gotta stop taking these pills. I gotta start feeling things again. He cries for the first time. He has a little bit of anger that we see out of him, and it's actually funny to see somebody who's never really has emotions for the better part of the film to gradually start to feel things, start to feel love, and start to feel connection again. And the movie is what I love about it is it has just these great characters. And what it's saying is we're all flawed. He comes back home and he's got friends that, smoke weed and are living with their mom. You got one kid who got super rich, but he's unhappy. You got the kid that used to party and do drugs, and now he's a cop. Kid selling the pyramid scheme at the hardware store. Just like a great mixture of characters. He meets somebody new, and it just vibes. It's got a great soundtrack. It's early 2000s, so it has like I think Coldplay and the Shins are the primary there, but you got some Simon and Garfunkel, a good like indie rock type vibe throughout it. And my favorite scene is when they're playing a Simon and Garfunkel song, Only Living Boy in New York. That's a great climax scene where he gets to kind of let out. I don't know if anybody has ever just felt their emotions pent up and they finally get to scream. That's a great scene in this movie. But it's about characters. We're all flawed and we're all gonna mess up, but the main thing is being there for one another. And if you are lucky enough to find somebody that gets your quirkiness, gets your weirdness, don't leave them because you think there's something better. And they tying other stuff into my own life. I moved out to Arizona, kind of thinking grass was greener. It didn't end up being that way. Moved back home. It was the right thing to do. And I started vibing with my friends right away, like I never left. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful feeling. This is a great movie. It's a feel-good movie. It's as an East Coast guy, I went to high school in the early 2000s, so the coming-of-age movies that are made around that time I like. It's Jersey, so it's right down the road. The way they move, the way they talk, the familiarity with one another, the joking, the party scenes, it's all very relatable, so that helped it out as well. Very cool atmosphere. Natalie Portman does a great job. Peter Sarsgaard, who plays Andrew's probably his best friend, is my favorite character in the movie. He's just this dude. He's not, he lives at home with his mom. He smokes weed. He's 26. he digs graves for a living, but he's just happy with being who he is, and he enjoys spending time with his friends. But yeah, this is a great movie. It's one I recommend. It's one I like. It's a good feel-good movie to watch. It's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit drama comedy. It's a little bit quirky, so you kind of have to have an open sense of humor to some of the dry sense of humor, the interactions with the characters. And of course, you know, the climax, of course, he has to have that end conversation with his dad. And like, again, a great little love story, so if you like that in the movie, it works. So yeah, great little coming of age flick to watch. Again, streaming for free on Amazon Prime. I'm gonna get to y'all suggestions in the coming days and weeks this month. Thank you so much for leaving those. Again, guys, thank you so much for your time, taking a few minutes with me today. I greatly appreciate it. Y'all take care and be well.